French master pâtissier Eric Lanlard has changed the face of British patisserie, earning himself a reputation for not only awe-inspiring cakes, but for a clientele that boasts the likes of Madonna, Elton John, and the Beckhams.
One of my competitors was on television the other day and just said, "We do cake for celebrities." And I said, "We do cake for everybody, including celebrities."
For the first time, he's going to share his tricks of the trade. This isn't just about puddings, it's about Glamour Puds. Afternoon tea since 1840. Anna, the 7th Duchess of Bedford, was the first to enjoy bread and butter and a slice of cake in the afternoon. Top pâtissier Eric Lanlard is famous for creating cakes and pastries fit for a queen, let alone a duchess. Coming up, a right royal feast. A family recipe from the Lanlard clan that's good enough to have graced Her Grace's tea time table. Gâteau Breton con mamie. Eric travels to Dublin to sample afternoon tea Emerald Isle style. Plus a light as a feather raspberry and basil tart for a little sweet indulgence.
One of our favourite British traditions is the ritual of afternoon tea. From the glitz of the top London hotel to the tiny little tea room somewhere in the countryside. But I'm going to make a bit of a twist on that. I'm actually going to use my grandmother's recipe of Gâteau Breton from Brittany, where I've come from, so why not? And it's a rich shortbread with slice of apple. So a very basic recipe, really. Just unsalted butter with some golden caster sugar here. Just adding that together, and I'm going to cream them with the mixer. So that cake usually was used, typically for in the afternoon. In Brittany we don't have tea, but usually it's coffee. So you'll have like a good slice of that in a big bowl of steamy coffee. And when it was like a big banqueting or family reunion or something, my grandmother used to make like a big one, and she used to take it to the baker and cook it in the baker's oven. I don't think you can do that these days.
Next, add the egg yolks and the flour. Mix it all together. Add dark rum. Fill the cake tin with the mixture and press it down firmly.
Right, let's prepare the apple now. So I got a cooking apple. I'm just going to peel it. Another traditional way to do it as well is to use prunes inside. But I heard British people don't like prunes, so we're going to do it with apple. And I'm just going to layer the apple, leaving a gap on the edge, because we're going to press the shortbread mixture on top, so we don't want the apple to come out on the side. So, right, and we're just going to press the rest of the mixture on top. Okay, so we're going to glaze it with an egg yolk to give us a nice golden color. And the traditional design on top is to fork it like that with a... And that's ready to go in the oven.
Cook for 40 minutes at 180 degrees.
Here we are, ready from the oven. Let's just loosen up a bit. Like so. And we're going to turn it up over. Come out. Yep. Just going to give it a bit of a glamorous touch. The grandmother never used to do that, of course. I got some little mini apple, crab apple. So I'm just going to dip them in some melted sift apricot jam. And I got some gold leaf here. And it's just going to... Here we are. Gâteau Breton like mamie, but decoration like me.
Eric's come to one of his favourite cities in the world, Dublin. As well as taking in some of the sights, he's come to enjoy the meal Dubliners really revel in, afternoon tea. But it's early to bed for Eric as he's up at the crack of dawn to deal with a different meal. Breakfast. He's cooking on the country's leading breakfast show, Island AM.
No, twice a winner.
It's 7 a.m. and Eric finds himself not in the warm studio, but a shed they use as their outside broadcast kitchen. Eric's on in just over half an hour. At least we think it's Eric, but he's not just short of time, he's short of a few bare essentials. Eric didn't realise he needs to bring his own equipment. Has no decent knife, scales to weigh the ingredients, or pans.
We're live in 20 minutes on a... I'm still wearing my jumper. And I haven't got a saucepan. Well, it's always very interesting, to arrive in someone else's kitchen. Mostly this one where it's nothing. So I'm just getting ready. So I'm going to stick one of my items I'm going to make. I'm making a rum on golden raisin carrot little tartlets with a great afternoon tea product.
The tartlet takes 20 minutes, so has to go in now if the presenters are going to get a taste.
We haven't got baking trays, so it's going straight on a rack. Hey guys, see you later. It will be fine. It'll be fine.
Now the tart is cooking, it's time to get himself tarted up. It's off to makeup.
So the presenter is nice.
Yeah.
They don't bite.
No, I'm well able for them. No, they're lovely, I have to say.
Great, thank you very much. I'm sure I will.
Running back to his kitchen from makeup, Eric still has to prep the tartlet he'll be cooking live on the show.
We're almost there. I just need to finalize the chocolate sauce.
Aidan, the presenter, walks in. A quick hello, no rehearsal, and they're off.
Thanks indeed, Mark. Welcome out of the kitchen. We're delighted to welcome Eric Lanlard to the studio this morning, to the kitchen. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Eric because this new series starts here on 3 in November. And I mean, it's now that you are sort of the, put it in football terms, the Zinedine Zidane, if you like, of your industry in the UK, and now branching out into Ireland. We're looking forward to the show. So people at home will be wondering, what can you do? What are you going to make for us this morning, Eric?
Yes, well, what can you do? And quickly as well, very simple recipe. I got some 3 eggs already pre-cracked here, and I'm going to add a 4th.
Things are going swimmingly when Aidan throws Eric a bit
so
of a
it's not too
curveball.
stodgy.
Are you bringing truckers into this, to your programme as well? Are the truckers going to be making desserts, or are they tasting them?
Sorry?
Truck drivers, are they involved in your... Did you do a series with truck drivers making cakes or tasting cakes?
No, we went around visiting a lot of people to make them doing cakes. We went to rowing clubs, we went to builders, and so it's all very interesting.
Having coped with that admirably, he's now only got 3 minutes to finish his tart and chocolate reduction. But passes with flying colours.
Deep down, does it ever even out? Does it even out in the long run? Deep down, does it ever even out? Does it even out in the long run? Deep down,
Aidan at least seems suitably impressed.
I don't think I'll do any more work this morning. I think I'll just stay in here with you. This is great. The flavours resonate nicely on the tongue, but you know the thing about no starch?
Yes.
Not too much flour. It just melts.
Exactly.
It just
so you just need a good cup of Irish tea.
Very it's been lovely meeting you.
No, pleasure.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you
to
very
TV3.
much. Thank you.
Now we'll take a little break. See you for more Ireland AM in a few minutes' time.
There's nothing quite like live TV, especially at this time of the morning.
No, it was good fun. It was good, and I'm looking forward to go around Dublin now to have a look as well at what's going on in the world of patisserie and tea rooms and things. Apparently we got some very exciting places we're going to go to visit.
Still to come, Eric's Irish trip continues. And a melt-in-the-mouth raspberry and basil tart. Glamour Puds afternoon tea continues after this.
When you're around you, I'm tongue-tied. When you're around.
Every year, Brits slurp their way through 33 billion cuppas. Still to come in this edition of Glamour Puds, top patissier Eric Lanlard is preparing the perfect accompaniment to a great cuppa, a melt-in-the-mouth raspberry and basil tart. First though, Eric's sampling afternoon tea, Emerald Isle style. Now the locals here might like nothing more than a shot of the black stuff, but sitting down to afternoon tea is very popular too.
So Paul, you've been a buyer and a blender of tea for 27 years and working here at Bewley's in Dublin for 17 years.
Yeah, 17.
Am I right to think then it's a big revival in a ritual of afternoon tea?
Yes, there certainly is. It's a very, I think most of us everybody likes a bit of a hit of coffee in the morning, but people are beginning to explore the wonders of tea again. I think they're getting to the stage where, okay, they've had their chai, they've had their lattes, they've had their cappuccinos, but in the afternoon they're beginning to discover there's a resurgence in the varietals of tea that's available, and it's the most refreshing drink, great for thirst, great to pick you up, and people really are beginning to go through the whole ceremony again of the afternoon tea.
That's an amazing selection.
It's a great selection of tea. We have here jasmine tea from China, where you have a
real flowers,
slightly fermented jasmine tea with real jasmine flowers. Again, some lemon tea from China with some dried lemon peel. And some of these have the most amazing aromas. Now, if you just give that a little...
it's very smoky.
Smoky, and that's what we have Lapsang Souchong. This is CTC tea from Kenya, which is very, very popular nowadays. You will notice immediately the difference in leaf between this type of tea and that. This is called traditional orthodox tea, where they roll the leaf, a little bit like tobacco. Why you need to let this tea brew for 4 to 5 minutes so that leaf could open up and give you the full flavour. In the 70s and 80s, the Kenyans developed a fantastic tea industry, and they changed the method of manufacture, and it's called CTC, crushed, torn and curled, where they twist the leaf as opposed to roll it, and you get a quicker infusion. Okay, Eric, I mean, we've been looking at these beautiful teas here for a little while.
I can smell it.
It's a lovely mixture of aromas. So what I'm going to do, I picked two that we can taste, where they really are going to taste totally different.
Yeah.
The first one I've selected is Nassam Orthodox tea, nice roll leafed. It is seasonal. The optimum time we buy this is between June to September. So this is July harvest, and it's just arrived in Dublin last month actually. So it should taste very
Indian
fresh.
Tea. Is it from
Indian tea, North India. Let's have a taste. Now, a tea taster would describe that tea as malty, slightly creamy, totally clean, with a little bit of point on the end, almost a muscadet, and that's the little bit of our Darjeeling you're picking up right at the end. The nice flavour.
It's got quite a lot of tannin.
Yeah,
Yes.
very, very refreshing. Very refreshing.
Will you drink it on its own like that, or?
I would drink it on its own, particularly in the afternoon. You should try it on its own. The reason why Irish and English people drink tea with milk a lot of the time is we're not very warm countries in the winter.
Exactly.
So we make our tea scalding hot. Now I prefer to let my tea just cool a little bit rather than pour lots of milk in. Yeah. But this tea will take milk very well.
Eric tries the Assam with milk and finds it's a drink transformed.
Yeah, it's very smooth, almost like caramel. Maybe I'm wrong, but
absolutely.
The light caramel.
The milk melts, just breaks up that tannin and turns it into you really get the flavours now.
The Assam is refreshing, but Eric's looking for that elusive afternoon tea to be drunk with his pastries.
So Eric, we now have the jasmine tea. Wow. You'll see the dried jasmine flowers, and now hopefully you'll be able to taste that in the tea. Yeah. I think I can already get the aroma from here.
Yeah, it's very refreshing. I can imagine that, for me, that would be the perfect afternoon tea.
Perfect,
with, some rich fruit cake, maybe some fruity berry tart with it, even chocolate, I think.
Absolutely.
This is, a rich chocolate cake with that would be perfect. Well, the thing I like about tea, really, it's, it's not like your cappuccino or your latte. You see people in the street in a plastic cup drinking it. People usually like to stop properly and enjoy it, and that's why they came to this kind of places. To sit in beautiful places and taking their time to drink it, really.
You can drink coffee on the go, but you've got to stop for tea.
Exactly.
You have to take that bit of time out, get that bit of refreshment. It's a ceremony, treat it with respect.
Eric doesn't need to be invited twice to stop for a cup of tea and possibly a slice of cake too.
This is great. Coming here to Dublin today remind me of how important afternoon tea is. And it's not just about the cakes on the the plate, but how important the tea is. I learned so much today, and I think afternoon tea should be the new lunch, really. Great place to meet your friends or treat someone special. And if you don't want to have a whole dinner, I think it's quite a cheaper way to treat someone and to have a great afternoon. I went for my jasmine tea, who I thought was my favorite at the tea tasting, and I got, of course, you can't have afternoon tea without a scone, some delicious strawberry preserve, and I'm treating myself to a lovely carrot cake, who I'm sure will work perfectly with this lovely brew. Hope for afternoon tea. Another classic for afternoon tea is jam tart. And to be honest, I don't really get it, the whole thing about jam tart, mostly if it's made with some cheap jam inside. So I'm going to do my kind of own version, something much lighter than the previous cake we made. Essentially, fresh raspberry are going to be baked in the tart base with fresh basil. And the combination is just amazing. So to start with, we're going to start to make a layer of sponge. And instead to make the usual big gâteau sponge, we're actually going to make Swiss rolls. I prefer to do that. It gives you, it's faster, and it actually keep much softer as well. So just a classic recipe, but we're going to cook it very thinly like a Swiss roll.
To make your sponge, take caster sugar and butter and whisk together until creamy. Add the eggs one at a time and continue whisking. Add a splash of water and some flour and combine. When the mixture is pale, spread it onto a baking tray, then it's into the oven.
So when your sponge is cooked and cold, you just cut it off. I'm using a metal ring to cut it from the sheet. If you haven't got a metal ring, just use a plate. At the moment, it's the right size. And you can see it's very thin, but still very, very soft because it's just been zapped in the oven. So it's really the best way to make it work. And another thing you're going to need for this recipe is a pastry shell, basic shortcrust pastry, so you can cook that in advance with the baked blind, or you can buy it in as well if you wanted to. So the first step is we got here some raspberry preserve, good quality one, and with a palette knife, I'm just going to give a good coat on layers on our sponge. So it's got a good combination because you're going to get the crunchiness of the pastry and a sponge on the inside. So it's kind of almost like a cake stroke tart. And it's really important you use good quality jam and not something with bright red and just full of sugar and no fruit. So just put a good layer like this, and we're just going to flip it over inside the tart like that. Just press it down. And the next step is to make a basil syrup.
Add some caster sugar to a pan of hot water and stir till dissolved. Add some fresh basil and leave to infuse.
And I'm going to soak the sponge with the syrup using a brush. Give it a good old soak. You can do the same version with of the tart, but using strawberries. And you can even grind some peppercorn, because it's got a good. It does work very well with strawberries. And now we're just gonna completely cover the top with fresh raspberries. Right, I'm just adding the final few last one. I'm going to keep some extra one for the decoration as well. And that's ready to go in a hot oven because we want the raspberries to go all squidgy and juicy.
Bake the tart for 15 minutes at 200 degrees.
Here we are, our tart is just out of the oven, lovely and hot. You can see the raspberries are almost ready to burst on them, you know, all the juice coming out, so that's absolutely perfect. We're just going to do a few decoration on it before serving it. So I got some red currant here. Going to sit on the top. Give it nice acidities. And some other fresh raspberries. Bit of icing sugar. Here we are, a perfect alternative for an afternoon tea. The only thing you need now is a nice glass of Prosecco.
For details of this dish and all recipes featured in the series and exclusive content, check out the website details at the end of the show. Next time, Eric heads to Paris for a busman's holiday. Gâteau Saint-Honoré, a sumptuous cake of caramel-glazed, cream-filled profiteroles on a puff pastry base. That's French classics next on Glamour Puds.